emergency room department here needs renovation. We know that. It needs to be physically updated.
The ER has significant needs in order to bring us up to practicing a gold standard of care.
But not just the physical part. It needs to be transformed in terms of how we deliver services.
When I come to a room to see a patient, this is often the scene that's playing out. A couple family members sitting by the bedside, a patient in the bed, and my nurse over to the left starting to get the patient prepped and ready for treatment. In order for me to access the room, get the curtain closed, you can see I have very little space to maneuver. My stool that I would sit on to talk to the patient at eye level is actually in this cupboard behind us here. And there's generally no way for me to get the stool out without a whole bunch of ruckus and commotion. And so often when I'm working here in Waconia, I never sit down. So add into this room any additional testing or treatment equipment such as an EKG machine, an ultrasound machine, a BiPAP machine to offer breathing support. And you can imagine there's no place for it to go.
One of the significant benefits about the emergency room department renovation is the ability to increase space, increase privacy, increase opportunities for our collective staff, not only our nurses and physicians, but our social workers and others to really help people with transitions in their life.
We can elevate our level of care by also providing patients with a more quiet environment while they're here. As I'm trying to talk to a patient, the people in the next room down can clearly hear what's going on in the room next to them and also what's going on in our main working area right outside their rooms.
We know that when people come to our emergency room, many times it's a crisis, but that crisis doesn't end right when the emergency visit ends. And that's what we need to begin to think about in healthcare, helping people with transitions in their life from the emergency room visit to what happens next.
I came to Ridgeview's ER because I was physically sick from the amount of pain in my back.
Despite the fact that she didn't have a cough or really upper respiratory symptoms, I thought, let's get a chest x-ray, let's just make sure that that pain isn't coming from pneumonia.
I thought maybe I had a kidney stone or something pretty minor, as other people in my family have had that.
And then the chest x-ray showed a mass on her lung, and from there we did advanced imaging with a CT scan. It was piecing together actually two bits of information, the hilar mass and an enlarged spleen, that ultimately led me to believe that she probably had lymphoma.
You kind of go into shock. All I could think about was my 22-month-old little boy at home.
So you'd be surprised how often being an emergency physician and meeting someone for the very first time that I'm actually faced with giving them significantly bad news, something like that they have cancer. And one thing I'm blessed with here is just a whole wonderful team of people that help me support our patients.
The nurse that I had in the ER came in and just asked me what I wanted to do, because she was like gonna do whatever it took to comfort me after Val had left and was working on setting up my future appointments. And I said, I just want to pray, and she sat there and prayed and cried with me, and I don't think anything would have been or could have been better about that.
Even though we're seeing people, briefly, we're often seeing them repeatedly. We're often seeing them in circumstances that are relatively spectacular and that may impact their lives forever. But as an individual, I'm only interacting with a handful of patients a day. And when we, as a physician group and as individuals, have decided to get back to Ridgeview, it's given us the opportunity to be part of a relationship that affects thousands of patients every day.
As a community, we're in this thing to improve really the health of the community we serve together, not just the physicians, not just the nurses, not just the hospital or the clinics, but the community at large.
Well, I think it's extremely important that we show the commitment to the hospital, just as our community members have as well. And we also feel an ownership here, and so we're very proud to be involved in this foundation.
And I can tell you, I never get tired of asking for the help because I see what we do with it. And the community trusts us with their resources and time and efforts to create really phenomenal programs. So once again, I'm here excited about what we can do together, the community in Ridgeview, with great philanthropists who believe in what we're doing to create wonderful things.
And I think if we want to continue to maintain this special, unique place that we are, I think we have to constantly be striving to go above and beyond. And a part of that right now is to bring our ER up to date.
Together, we've made a difference.
Join me in supporting Ridgeview.
Help us go from good to great.
You matter here.
Join us in the pursuit of world-class healthcare.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.